Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Puri Rajakacharya Ashtotar Satashi Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone for Sri Caitanya Caritamrita with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Thursday, November 14th, 2024 in New York, and we're reading in CC Adi Lila, chapter 10, starting with text number 91, describing the various branches of the Caitanya tree and starting with the brief description of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mahaprabhura Priya Bhritya Raghunatha Das Sarvatyaji Kaila Prabhura Pade Tale Vas. I'll read that second line again. Sarvatyaji Kaila Prabhura Pada Tale Vas. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, the 46th branch of the tree, was one of the most dear servants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He left all his material possessions to surrender completely unto the Lord and live at his lotus feet. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was most probably born in the year 1416 Shakabda, AD 1494, in a Kayastha family as the son of Govardhan Majumdar, who was the younger brother of the then Zamindar, Hiranya Majumdar. The village where he took birth is known as Sri Krishnapura. On the railway line between Calcutta and Burdwan is a station named Trishabhaga, now known as Adi Saptagram, and about 1.5 miles away is the village of Sri Krishnapur, where the parental home of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami was situated. The temple of Sri Sri Radha Govinda is still there. In front of the temple is a large open area, but no large hall for devotees to assemble. A rich Calcutta gentleman named Hari Charan Ghosh, who resided in the Singla quarter, recently repaired the temple. The entire temple compound is surrounded by walls, and in a small room just to the side of the temple is a small platform on which Raghunath Das Goswami used to worship the deity. By the side of the temple is the dying river Saraswati. The forefathers of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami were all Vaishnavas and were very rich men. His spiritual master at home was Yadunandan Acharya. Although Raghunath Das was a family man, he had no attachment for his estate and wife. Seeing his tendency to leave home, his father and uncle engaged special bodyguards to watch over him, but nevertheless he managed to escape their vigilance and went away to Jagannath Puri to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This incident took place in the year 1439 Shakabda, AD 1517. Raghunath Das Goswami compiled 3 books named Stavamala or Stavavali, Dana Charita, and Mukta Charita. He lived a long time, residing for most of his life at Radha Kund. The place where Raghunath Das Goswami performed his devotional service still exists by Radha Kund. He almost completely gave up eating, and therefore he was very skinny and of weak health. His only concern was to chant the holy name of the Lord. He gradually reduced his sleeping until he was almost not sleeping at all. It is said that his eyes were always full of tears. When Srinivas Acharya went to see Raghunath Das Goswami, the Goswami blessed him by embracing him. Srinivas Acharya requested his blessings for preaching in Bengal, and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami granted them. In the Gaura Ganadesha Deepika 186, it is stated that Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was formerly the gopi named Rasa Manjari. Sometimes it is said that he was Rati Manjari. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyas Chakripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As I was reading this, it occurred to me that it'd be interesting to know what year it was, what was the time frame during which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote his Anubhashya, because he gives, for that time, up-to-date information about these places of pilgrimage, such as the village of the birth of Raghunath Das Goswami and what the current state of affairs was there. But I'm sure it's considerably earlier in the early part of the 20th century. So we don't, I'm sure someone in this assembly may know what the condition of things are in Sri Krishnapur, but I certainly don't. I found it interesting also in the verse when Srila Kaviraj Goswami says of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami that Prabhura Padatale, under the shelter of the lotus feet, like we say in our obeisance to Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale. So that's on the Bhutale means on the earth, and here it's being described how the residence or the habitation, the vas of Raghunath Das Goswami was under the shelter, Padatale, under the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's always pointed out when the life of Raghunath Das Goswami is being discussed that he had everything. In fact, I remember in our talks, Maharaj, during Krishna.com meetings so many years ago, you suggested a biographical blurb for Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, something along the lines of the millionaire who gave it up, the millionaire who gave it all away, or something like that. But here it's described that he had his habitation, his eyes were on a different kind of real estate than he had at home. He wanted to take shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. So, Maharaj, if you have any comments, we'd love to hear them.
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshat Vanchakolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Garupa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. I was also thinking about that, the time difference. But it takes so many throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita descriptions of places from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary, and things have changed. I don't know about Sri Krishnapur, but Gurdwan mentioned here is now called Bardhaman. Raghunath Das Goswami's history will later be elaborated in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Wonderful history. And he's known as our Prayojana Acharya, the Acharya whose special characteristic concerns Prayojana, the ultimate goal of life. There's the beginning stage to establish a relationship, sambandha, with Krishna. Then there are dealings with in devotional service, abhideya, and then the perfection, yoga. So the Raghunath Das Goswami is associated with prayoja, the ultimate perfection. And Praveen says that the birthplace of Raghunath Das Goswami is still there in Adi Saptagram, still widely visited, and it's about 2 hours from Kolkata. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes. Is there someone there in the assembly who would like to read our next verse?
Next verse.
Sure, I can read it on my phone.
Okay. Mukunda.
Swarup Prabhu Gupta Seva Kaila Swarup Prabhu Gupta Seva Kaila Swarup Sate. When Raghunath Das Goswami approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, the Lord entrusted him to the care of Swarup Damodar, his secretary. Thus they both engaged in the confidential service of the Lord. Purport. This confidential service was the personal care of the Lord. Swarup Damodar, acting as the secretary, attended to the Lord's baths, meals, rest, and massages, and Raghunath Das Goswami assisted him. In effect, Raghunath Das Goswami acted as the assistant secretary of the Lord. Om Jnanatamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vrishthaya Bhutale Buddhadasa Jayadvaita Swami. So when Raghunath Das Goswami approached the Lord to offer service, he was entrusted to Swarup Damodar. And so he served the Lord through Swarup Damodar. And so the natural, or the obvious emphasis could be, well, if I'm understanding correctly, it's saying how he served Swarup Damodar, and in serving Damodar, he was serving the Lord. So that we can emphasize Vaishnava Seva, and how serving the servant of the Lord is to serve the Lord directly, it's indirectly from one perspective. But that's how we serve the Lord. And then in the Bengali, that's the Prabhu Gupta Seva, that's the confidential service of the Lord, was serving Swarup Damodar. So by serving Swarup Damodar, they both engaged in confidential service of the Lord. That's all I have to say.
This also is described later in Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Raghunath Das Goswami came to Puri, and the Lord placed him under the care of Swarup Damodar, so that Raghunath Das Goswami became known as Swarupera Raghunath, the Raghunath Das of Swarup Damodar. The one thing this shows us, excuse me, one thing this shows us is how important Swarup Damodar was among the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his pastimes at Puri, in the last stage, was relishing Krishna consciousness, especially in the association of Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar. So Swarup Damodar's understanding of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very deep, and the Gaudiya Vaishnavas all follow Swarup Damodar through the six Goswamis, so on. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you, Mukunda Charan Prabhu. Was there someone else there who may like to read another few verses until we get to our next purport?
Okay.
Shodash Vatsar Kaila Antaranga Sevana Swarupera Antardhane Aila Vrindavana. He rendered confidential service to the Lord for 16 years at Jagannath Puri,
and after the disappearance of both the Lord and Swarup Damodar, he left Jagannath Puri and went to Vrindavan. वृंदावन दुई भैरा चरण देखिया गोवर्धन त्याजीवा देहा भृगुपात करिया. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami intended to go to Vrindavan to see the lotus feet of Rup and Sanatan and then give up his life by jumping from Govardhan Hill. Purport. Jumping from the top of Govardhan Hill is a system of suicide, especially performed by saintly persons. After the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya and Swarup Damodar, Raghunath Das Goswami keenly felt separation from these two exalted personalities and therefore decided to give up his life by jumping from Govardhan Hill in Vrindavan. Before doing so, however, he wanted to see the lotus feet of Srila Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Kadamba Kanand Swami Iti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Gurudas Jayadvaita Swami Iti Namine. So in this purport, it is mentioned how Srila Raghunath Das Goswami wanted to commit suicide by jumping from the top of the Govardhan hill and he felt separation. In the conversation of with the Ramanand Rai, Lord Chaitanya's conversation with Ramanand Rai, the biggest separation, biggest pain is the pain in the separation from a pure devotee of the Lord. So Raghunath Das Goswami himself was on an exalted level and he was a pure devotee, and when he got separated from these two exalted personality, he felt like doing suicide because that pain was unbearable for him. But that pain is good. It's not like the material pain. That separation, that attachment for a pure devotee is actually good for us. It's just like given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Prasangam Majram Pasham Atmana Kavyo Vidu Saev Sadhushu Krito Moksha Dwar Pavatam. Like if we get attached to material things or materially attached to people, then it will become a cause of pain, suffering in this material world, miseries in this material world. But if the same attachment is applied to saintly people, devotees of the Lord, then that attachment opens up the door of liberation for a person. So, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is exemplifying this kind of attachment with pure devotees. And if we also get attached to pure devotees of the Lord, we will also be fortunate enough. So, and the doors of liberation will also open for us. Hare Krishna.
Nothing for me to add. I'd like to read a couple more verses.
एता निश्चय करी आइला वृंदावने आसी रूप सनातन रावदिला चरणे. The Srila Raghunath Das Goswami came to Vrindavan, visited Srila Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami and offered them obeisances. तबे दुही भाई तारे मरी तेना दिला निज तृतीया भाई करी निकटे राखिला. These two brothers, however, did not allow him to die. They accepted him as their third brother and kept him in their company. Mahaprabhura Lila Yat Bahira Antara Dui Bhai Tara Mukhe Sune Nirantara. Because Raghunath Das Goswami was an assistant to Swarup Damodar, he knew much about the external and internal features of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Thus, the two brothers Rup and Sanatan always used to hear of this from him.
Can add something with that. This is what we do in separation. We hear. Prabhupada mentions in the Krishna book that for those who are feeling separation from Krishna, there are books, Krishna Bhajanamrita, and so on, and this Krishna book itself, which provide the association. So everyone, Rup, Sanatan, Raghunath, they're all feeling separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But they also had the opportunity to talk about the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the activities of Lord Chaitanya. And especially hearing from Raghunath Das, because Raghunath Das was in the inner circle of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These days we have similar opportunities. In Prabhupada's absence, we hear from his Maharishi Prabhu, from other servants of Srila Prabhupada. And we experience something of the presence of Prabhupada, hearing Shrutakirti, hearing their accounts of Prabhupada's activities, Satsrupa Goswami, his account of Prabhupada's life. So in this way, although separation is there, there's also association.
अन्न जल त्यागा कैला अन्य कथना पला दुई तीना माथा करेना भक्षणा. Raghunath Das Goswami gradually gave up all food and drink, but a few drops of buttermilk. सहस्र दंडवत करे लय लक्षणामा दुई सहस्र वैष्णवेर नित्य प्रणामा. As a daily duty, he regularly offered 1,000 obeisances to the Lord, chanted at least 100,000 holy names, and offered obeisances to 2,000 Vaishnavas. Would you like to add anything?
Sankhya Purvaka Namagana Nativi. Also Nidrahara Viharakadi Vijita. The Goswamis conquered the activities of eating, sleeping, no question of mating, defending. They conquered over the physical activities, but they were relishing the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada said it wasn't just a vow that I won't take anything but buttermilk. They're so absorbed in Krishna consciousness, they forget to eat, they forget to sleep. They just be absorbed in Krishna conscious activities. And Sankhya Purvaka Namagana Natibhi Kalova Sannikrito. And from this we can understand that it's a practice to have some vow to chant some particular number of names. It's not some recently introduced idea that you have to chant a particular number. This was there. Sankhya Purvaka Nam. Sankhya means counting. This was the system. We hear also that Haridas Thakur was chanting some particular number of names at the minimum. So of course their number is not to be matched by us, but we have a vow to chant some particular number. So we have to do that. We may chant well or we may chant badly, but we have to chant our prescribed number of names. Prabhupada said, every day you eat, so if you can eat, you can chant. We don't say, no, today I won't eat. Every day we're eating, no matter what. So I'm so busy today. So this chanting is part of our regular life. And we take a vow that I'll chant at least this many rounds. And so we should do that. Of course, well or badly, we should try not to chant badly. We should avoid 10 offenses. That's part of our practice. But not that we say, well, better to chant 2 good rounds than 16 inattentive rounds. No. We don't concoct that way. Our vow is that we'll chant at least 16 rounds, those who are following Srila Prabhupada. That we'll chant at least 16 rounds. So we have to do that and not make up something, no, better 2 good rounds, 16. But within those 16 rounds or more, we should try strenuously to avoid 10 offenses. And offering obeisances to 2,000 Vaishnavas, that's a lot of Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Just on that particular topic, Venkatesh Prabhu says, is it that 2,000 obeisances were offered repeatedly to the same Vaishnavas, as 2,000 new Vaishnavas may not have come to the remote Radhakund every day back then?
Well, I suppose one could read it as 2,000, but that would be very inconvenient for the few Vaishnavas. That you have to wait there while Raghunath Das Goswami offers you 2,000 obeisances or 1,000 or 500. It appears that he offered obeisances to 2,000 Vaishnavas. It doesn't say, by the way, that they were physically present. He may have offered obeisances to some who were within his mind. I don't know. But the way that Prabhupada translates it, it's 2,000 Vaishnavas, not a small number times big number, but 2,000 Vaishnavas.
And Preeti Purna Madhavi Devi says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, I remember once you mentioned we can live in the Dham when we have a service. Can we conclude if there is no service given by spiritual authorities, then the Dham's glories won't be as revealed as they are revealed in relationship with the pure devotee of the Lord through the service. So one should not reside in the Dham if there is no association or relationship with any devotee.
One shouldn't live anywhere where there's no association with devotees, in the Dham or anywhere. We should avoid those places. Chanakya Pandit says one shouldn't live anywhere where there's no river, no doctor, and no friend. So the friends of the devotees are the devotees. So why live anywhere where there are no devotees? Then we'll have to live with the non-devotees. So we should live in Vrindavan in the association of devotees. And that also association of devotees that are authorized for us to associate with, or appropriate for us to associate with. Prabhupada didn't approve when devotees went off to Radha Kund to associate with the Babajis there. He objected strenuously. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sent Damodar Pandit, I think, he allowed him to go to Vrindavan, but he said, when you go there, just associate with Rupa Sanatana. And his reason was that the Vrindavan is full of Vaishnavas who are in relationship with Krishna and spontaneous love. So if you go there, you won't understand them, and you may commit offenses. So just go straight to Rupa Sanatana and associate with them. So the choice of whom we associate with in the holy places matters. There are so many fraudulent people who come to the holy tombs to make money or to recruit women or whatever reason. So we should be careful. Or simply devotees who are aimlessly in Vrindavan and don't know the science of Krishna consciousness. Or those who are genuinely advanced, but whose association we won't be able to take properly. So one should go to Vrindavan under the direction of the spiritual master, advanced devotees. And yes, in Vrindavan, one should serve. Of course, one can serve simply by chanting Hare Krishna, simply by kirtan, simply by hearing. But in general, if we go to Vrindavan and imitate Haridas Thakur, well, I'll just go to Vrindavan and Radha Kund, I'll chant 64 rounds, I'll chant 100 rounds. It will be a failure. We'll do it for some time and then we'll give it up. Or we'll do it for some time, but other things will creep in unnoticed. So, or let me go to Vrindavan and simply hear and chant Bhagavatam. Very nice, but do we have the qualifications simply to come to Vrindavan and hear and chant? And even then, is it our duty simply to go to Vrindavan and hear and chant? Prabhupada advises in Krishna book that we not do this. He allows that in the advanced stage or mature stage, one may, but not that it's not for the general devotee, that we'll come to Vrindavan, we'll simply absorb ourselves in hearing and chanting. No, better, Prabhupada said, to go out and preach. Then we associate intimately with Krishna and get the favor of Krishna. By coming to Vrindavan and simply hearing and chanting, one may get a reputation, oh, he's living in Radha Kund and he's simply hearing and chanting. But the higher reputation is to be spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. Prabhupada himself was living in Vrindavan. And the sort of general advice or general feeling, the mood is that once you've come, you should never leave. Just stay in Vrindavan and be engaged in bhajan, Krishna service, Vrindavan. But Prabhupada had a different mood that I'll stay for some time, I'll write my books, I'll start something. But then let me go and spread Krishna consciousness under the order of my Guru Maharaj. He had some desire. Well, let me serve that desire. So sometimes we do come to Vrindavan. Prabhupada wanted us all to come to Vrindavan. He arranged that Mayapur Vrindavan festival every year. All the devotees from all over the world should come and take advantage of these holy places, Vrindavan and Mayapur. But then go out and preach again. Take inspiration from Mayapur, from Vrindavan, and then again go out. That was Prabhupada's move. But some people he assigned, you stay in Vrindavan. There was some incident that Prabhupada was in Vrindavan and he instructed maybe 2 sannyasis that now you go out and preach, don't sit down. Business of the sannyasi is not to sit down. Business is to travel and preach. So go, travel and preach. And then he told another sannyasi, so you stay here in Vrindavan, don't go anywhere else, because Prabhupada had some service for him in Vrindavan, temple management and so on. So different instructions may be there. But in my experience, if one wants to spend any time in Mayapur or Vrindavan, one should have some service to do. Whatever is prescribed by the spiritual master. Of course, sometimes just to come, visit the holy places, and associate with so many devotees. That's our service for some days. Or we may have some practical service to do for the temple, or we may have some writing project, or we have some preaching project. When we have service, then we can stay. Otherwise, why are we here? For that matter, wherever we stay, we should have service. Otherwise, what's the use of our being there? Why go to San Francisco or London or Rio de Janeiro or any place, unless we have some service? That should be our criteria. Let me go where I can do some service. Yes.
Sometimes devotees narrate that pastime of Srila Prabhupada when somebody asked Srila Prabhupada what to do in Vrindavan, then Srila Prabhupada said, just wander.
Just surrender.
Just wander.
Wander.
Wander, yes. So, how to understand this?
And just wander, but that's not now the general instruction for ISKCON. Everyone come to Vrindavan and just wander. Maybe some particular person at some particular time, you just wander. But that's not at all his general instruction. You just wander. They'll wander and get lost, wander and get in trouble, wander and associate with all the wrong people, wander and waste time, wander and fall into Maya. Just wander. They'll wander, and they'll wander further and further away. So, yes, one may wander in Vrindavan, but that's not the instruction that Prabhupada gave as the principle for our coming to Vrindavan. Just come to Vrindavan and wander. Come to Vrindavan and serve. Wandering is also service, but we should see what is the service prescribed by our spiritual master, or what is the service that would most please our spiritual master. Otherwise, it becomes sense gratification also. Oh, let me stay for my own interests. But we're not supposed to have merely our own interest. Finally, our interest should be to serve the desire of our spiritual master, desire of Chaitanya, desire of Krishna. And that will be good for us also. Otherwise, we know so many cases where people have come to Vrindavan to wander or to live in Vrindavan, live in Radhakund, and they get lost. They get lost. Therefore, Prabhupada was very protective when devotees would come to Vrindavan. He'd see someone with this great tilak. Where have they been? Who has told them to go there? Who are they associating with? Very protective. And in general, no, come and stay at the temple with the devotees. Prabhupada told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you don't have to go anywhere outside these four walls at Krishna Bhavan. So we should be very careful and not mine the books for some isolated statement that supports what we want to do. We should try to see what actually our spiritual master wants us to do, and not just look for a statement we can excavate that will support our own desire. we should be careful and honest about that.
Maharaj, we have a comment from Praveen Krishna Prabhu. It says, Antya Leela describes the wonderful escape of Raghunath Das Goswami from home near Kolkata, having received the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and in 12 days reached Puri through the path of the forests to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful history. So we have that to look forward to as we continue our reading. Wonderful, wonderful history.
And Saraswati Devi says, Pranams Param Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. We are informed that Sri Sanatan Goswami is the Acharya of Sambandhan, and Sri Radha Madan Mohan is the presiding deity of worship, and Sri Rupa Goswami is the Acharya of Abhideya, and the presiding deities are Sri Radha Govinda and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, as you have stated, is the Prayojana Acharya, with Sri Radha Gopinath as the presiding deities. So, is there a reason why they are acharyas in this division, as Sri Sanatan and Rupa Goswami were Sri Raghunath Dasa's gurus?
I don't think we have to look for a relationship. This one is the guru of this one, so therefore this one should be in the higher position. This one should be in the lower division. From one point of view, all these divisions are absolute, and it's certainly not that Rupa Goswami or Sanatan Goswami were merely on the stage of Sambandha or merely on the stage of Abhideya, and had more to achieve that only Raghunath Das Goswami achieved. That would be a misreading. But they're, what shall we say, in charge of a particular department. But that doesn't mean that their realization was confined to that department. Everything was there. Yeah, all right. That seems to be what you were looking for. Hare Krishna.
I was going to see if Venkatesh Prabhu would like to read our text 100, unless there are more comments. Perhaps 100 and yeah, text 100. Can you read, Prabhu?
Yes, just 1 minute, right? Yeah, text 100. Just give me one. Yeah. Is it Annajala?
Ratri Dine.
Oh.
Chapter
Oh,
10.
sorry. Yeah, I got it. Yes. Ratri dine Radha Krishnera Manasa Sevana Prahareka Mahaprabhura Charitra Katana. Day and night, he rendered service within his mind to Radha Krishna, and for 3 hours a day he discoursed about the character of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport. We have many things to learn about bhajan or worship of the Lord by following the footsteps of Raghunath Das Goswami. All the Goswamis engaged in such transcendental activities as described by Srinivas Acharya in his poem about them, Krishna Kirtana Kanana Tanaparav Premamritam Bho Nidhi. Following in the footsteps of Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, one has to execute devotional service very strictly, specifically by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Uh, yeah, so this Six Swami Ashtakam was written by Srinivas Acharya, in which he has glorified various you can say activities of the six Goswamis. Where did they come from? Taktva Turnam Shesha Mandala. And then what did they do? Uh, Here, as it's mentioned, Krishna Kirtana Kanana. So there are so many Goswamis with title Goswami, but then these were not just title Goswamis. They actually followed, you can say, some highly exalted activities which were unparalleled. And here Prabhupada is mentioning directly that we have many things to learn about the Lord. So Raghunath Goswami was not only physically serving, like externally, rather he was also doing mental service within his mind, which is really exalted. for for me at least, to do something with body is okay sometimes, but sometimes not even that. But body, mind, and words. So I think all of that was engaged in case of Goswamis. And here it's mentioned that with the mind he rendered service to Radha Krishna, and by his words he was discoursing on the character of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he had the personal association of Mahaprabhu. So I would like to hear from Maharaj as well.
So Manasa Seva, therefore Prayojanacharya. On the stage of perfection, one can be always absorbed in thinking of Krishna. This is the Paramahansa stage, or the most advanced stage. Manasa Seva. And within the mind also one can serve Krishna. In Nectar of Devotion we hear about that. There's specific, its story is there of the Brahmin who was worshipping the deity in his mind. And a devotee like Raghunath Das Goswami can be absorbed in always thinking within his mind of Radha and Krishna, their pastimes, their qualities. Radha Krishna Gunasmatir Madhuriva Andena Samodita. But we can't imitate Prabhupada. One has to strictly follow. One has to execute devotional service very strictly, specifically by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So if we very seriously chant the holy name of the Lord according to the numerical prescription and avoiding the 10 offenses, then the mind becomes purified. And in the advanced stage, this will automatically come, that while chanting Hare Krishna, one's mind will be absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Of course, from the very beginning, we should try to mainly hear. Prabhupada, when asked, said not that while chanting, we try to focus our mind on a picture of Radha and Krishna, a mental picture, something like that. But the prescription he gave was to hear, just to hear the holy name, chant and hear. And then automatically, one will think of Krishna's pastimes. Not that, no, I was trying to hear, but then like my mind got disturbed and I started thinking about Radha and Krishna. No, it's welcome. But not that we should force it. That while chanting Hare Krishna, we should meditate or do something to bring into our minds the form and qualities of Radha Krishna. But if we chant and hear sincerely and strictly, then automatically this will come, that our mind will be attracted to Radha Krishna, and the mind will be absorbed. And with a purified mind, one can do this. One can serve Krishna within the mind also. There are different kinds, what is that? There's different kinds of deities. Some are made of earth, some are made of metal, some are made of paint, some are made of wood, and some are made of jewels, some are made of mind. One kind of deity is the deity in the mind. So one can, it's also one of the elements, so one can serve the deity in the mind. But for the beginning students, that's not recommended. We have the deity in the temple, serve the deity in the temple or the deity at home. Decorate nicely, keep everything very clean, offer some food to the deities, some flowers. So in that way, do it. And for the advanced devotee, no paraphernalia needed, nothing, just within the mind even. But we see that even the advanced acharyas, Rupa Goswami is worshipping Govindaji, Sanatana Goswami is worshipping Madan Mohan. So even the advanced devotees don't give up the worship of the deity in the temple. Oh, no, I'm worshipping in the mind. The deity is in the mind, the deity is also in the temple. Why should we neglect the deity in the temple? No, I'm doing Manasa Seva. That's nonsense seva. One should serve according to the higher direction. And we were hearing the other day in Bhagavatam class, by serving the deity in the temple, one's worshipping, one's intimately studying all the Vedas. By serving the deity in the temple also, one will come to the realization that Krishna is here, Radharani is here. And then one's service to the deity becomes as good as service to Krishna and Golika. Our time has come to the end.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Do you have a sizable looking kirtan orchestra there, I must say?
They look sizable to me. Who wants to lead?
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Gurudasa Jayadvaita Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Gurudasa Jayadvaita Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivachari Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I only Shiva, Sutarika, Charjasto, Krishna. AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Nama Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, James Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath, Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadip Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj, and thank you for your kirtaniyas. Murari Gupta Prabhu says, Jai, thank you, Maharaj, and Akemta Prabhu. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Thank you for your continued association, Murari Gupta Prabhu. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Krishna. Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.